His 6th loss in a row, but he was still ranked in the top 10. He lost 5 fights in a row. He's still in the top 10.
That's embarrassing. If that's what he can do on a public workout, don't bother doing a public workout. It's a disgrace.
Fuck Espinoza. And it's about time that shitty product is off the air.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside the Cage, where we bring you the latest and exciting updates of UFC. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Stephen Thompson's Payout hopes at UFC 296. So guess what? Stephen Thompson, the UFC welterweight title contender, has agreed to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov at UFC 296 on December 16th in Las Vegas. But here's the exciting part. He's doing it with the hope that the people at UFC are going to double up his paycheck for this gig. Now here's where it gets interesting. It seems Dana White might be playing a little game of hide and seek with that letter, or maybe he's just avoiding the whole topic altogether after some early scrutiny last month. Either way, his response to Wonderboy Thompson's demand for more money at the Contender Series press conference has got some fans a little bit concerned.
Stephen Thompson was going to get his pay for the last fight that he didn't fight because of the weight miss, because he's fighting Shavkat, so he's almost going to get double pay on this next fight. I think I'm saying that right. Is that
Okay.
That's what he said on the...
Okay.
Okay.
That's what he said. It must be true.
You know, Wonderboy has been doing his thing in the UFC for over a decade now. That's a pretty long time. And get this, he's headlined more than half a dozen fight cards. That's some serious spotlight time. But it's not just about what he does in the octagon. This guy is like a model citizen for the sport. He carries himself like a true professional, whether he's throwing down inside the cage or handling business outside of it. He's the kind of ambassador the sport should be proud to have. Sean O'Malley gives response to haters about his open relationship. You won't believe what's been going on with UFC bantamweight champ Sean O'Malley. Recently, he's been getting a ton of heat because of his open relationship. And boy, it's been a hot topic. Let me set the scene for you. O'Malley is one of the biggest stars in the MMA world right now. Climbed up those UFC ranks and now he's sitting pretty as the bantamweight king. But with great power comes great critics, right? So, because he's in the spotlight all the time, people are digging into his personal life. And guess what? He's been super upfront about his open relationship with his wife. That, my friend, caused a storm online. Fans and fellow fighters were all over the place, not exactly thrilled with his lifestyle choices. In a recent episode of his podcast, Suga decided it was time to have a heart-to-heart and clear the air. I want to work with Danny, that's why we have certain boundaries and things that can and cannot be done, O'Malley said. Because I want it to work. We're good, for now. Marriage, when it was first introduced, is when people's life expectancy was 21 years old. It was so effing low that it was rare. So you were only married for a few years. Now, you have people that are married for 40, 50, 60 years. When it comes to stuff like open relationships, people are bound to have all sorts of opinions. But at the end of the day, if Sean O'Malley and his partner are cool with it and they're both happy, who are we to judge, right? Chael Sonnen's explosive take on Tony Ferguson's return. Paddy Pimblett, the Liverpool sensation, is gearing up for the biggest fight of his career. In 2023, Pimblett hasn't seen action. His last showdown was in December 2022 when he faced Jared Gordon at UFC 282. But hold on, guys. Just last week, on September 22, 2023, they dropped the bombshell. Pimblett's got his comeback bout lined up. And yes, he's going head-to-head with none other than former UFC interim lightweight champ Tony Ferguson at UFC 296 on December 16, 2023. However, Chael Sonnen has some different thoughts on those odds.
And the point on that is, Bobby Green was his 6th loss in a row. His 6th loss in a row, but he was still ranked in the top 10. He lost 5 fights in a row. He's still in the top 10. I'm just speaking to the caliber opponent that he's taken on.
Here, when you look at Tony Ferguson and Paddy Pimblett, it's like they're on totally different paths in their careers right now.
It's a matter that Tony just slid out of the top 10. Paddy the Baddy's never been in the top 10, never even threatened to be in the top 10. When Tony Ferguson left the top 10, it was very arguable. Does a loss to Bobby Green mean that you're no longer in the top 10? Paddy has not done anything to ever argue that he could be in the top 10. I'm not giving Paddy a hard time, by the way. I look at it very, very differently. I look at Patty with some real positivity, but I also look at a guy that can't get his weight under control. I look at a guy that every time he goes on social media or Instagram or does some kind of a podcast with Barstool, the only comments have to do with how big he is, which is a direct contradiction to discipline and efforts being put into the gym. They don't go together. If you're doing the workouts, you're burning the calories. If you're not doing the workouts, you're not burning the calories.
Whereas Tony Ferguson has been going through a rough patch, no doubt about it. But here's the thing. Despite his slide, Ferguson's been squaring off against top 15 fighters and seasoned veterans like the big dogs of the sport. While Chael Sonnen is making a point here, you can't say the same for Pimblett. It's like they're in two different leagues right now. Guys, if you're enjoying the video, we'd love your support. Just hit that subscribe button to motivate us to bring you more exciting content. John Fury slams Ngannou's training session. Francis Ngannou had a little boxing showcase in Las Vegas, and it seems like Team Fury wasn't exactly blown away by what they saw. You know, Ngannou and the legendary Mike Tyson teamed up for a boxing open workout. However, they're getting ready for Ngannou's first ever professional boxing bout, and it's against none other than Tyson Fury himself on October 28th in Saudi Arabia. But John Fury is not losing sleep over the possibility of his son getting surprised by Ngannou. It seems like he's pretty confident that his boys got this one in the bag.
Just seen Francis Ngannou and Mike Tyson and that so-called trainer that's got the pads on. Seen the open workout. I hope he's kidding along and he's playing possum here. I hope that's a joke and intended to be a laugh, because if it's not, he ain't got a prayer. He ain't got a cat and mouse chance. He won't get out of the first round. It's probably going to be Tyson's quickest knockout. But you know what? It's got to be kidology, that. It's got to be fun and games. Because if that's what he's got, well, God help him. He'll get smashed to bits. That's all I'm saying, mate. That's embarrassing. If that's what he can do on a public workout, don't bother doing a public workout. It's a disgrace.
Certainly John Fury didn't hold back and call it embarrassing and a disgrace if that's all Ngannou's got to show. It looks like the trash talk is in full swing. Dana White labels Espinoza as Scumbag and Weasel. See, Dana White and Steven Espinoza's feud is heating up big time. These two have been going at it for years, and this latest round is getting seriously bitter. Now there's all this buzz on social media that Paramount, the people who own Showtime, are thinking about pulling the plug on their boxing content by the end of this year. Now remember that Dana White once teamed up with Showtime for that mega Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight? Well, he had some not-so-great experiences, especially dealing with Steven Espinoza, who's the head honcho for their boxing stuff over at Showtime. And when White got asked about these rumors of Showtime ditching boxing, he didn't hold back. Gave a pretty sarcastic response.
That's incredibly unfortunate. Production of that show is fantastic. The guy who runs Showtime Boxing is a great human being. It's unfortunate to hear this.
Later on, he gave some briefing and he added,
Fuck Espinoza. And it's about time that shitty product is off the air.
While Espinoza wasted no time and responded within 24 hours. During the Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo press conference on Wednesday, he stated,
"The event on Saturday night will generate a gate of over $20 million. That's a rare feat in combat sports. It's rare in concerts or events of any kind. But this will be the third time in the last 6 months that we've done a gate of $20 million. Again, our third $20 million gate in the last 6 months. To put that in perspective, UFC has never done a gate of $20 million in its entire history. We've done it 3 times since April.
Now he got so angry that he reposted those comments on his Instagram story and then hit back with a seriously harsh comeback. However, that Weasel insult is like a blast from the past. Remember when Conor McGregor used to taunt Espinoza during their press tour back in 2017? It's like Dana White just pulled that one out of the archives. Alright guys, that's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.